Hi, I'm Chelly Wood, and this is my tiny sewing room where I make doll clothes sewing videos. Today I'm going to show you how to make a fashion doll's animal print shirt with 3/4 length sleeves, which can be worn by curvy Barbie, a standard Barbie, and a number of other dolls in this size range. But before we begin sewing, please go to my website chellywood.com to download and print this free PDF sewing pattern. When you visit my website to get your free pattern, be sure to read about the real person named Lisa, who was the inspiration for today's lovely top. Okay, let's get on with the sewing instructions. Use your pattern to cut out all the pieces shown. Note, I have a gray animal print for the lining. Use a light box together with a fabric pencil to mark the darts on your shirt on the front of the garment. If you don't have a light box, a window can work as long as you darken the dart marks. Once you've marked your darts, fold them at the center line mark one at a time and stitch along the outer edge of each dart. Do this with both of your darts. Trim away the extra fabric. I'm using Fisker Stitcher's mini scissors for this, and if you need a pair, I have a link to them in the description area below. Follow the same directions to form darts for both the lining and the outer fabric fronts. Lay one front on top of the other, keeping right sides together. Stitch them together at the neckline only. Clip this neckline seam. Once again, these are my little Fisker Stitcher scissors. I'm showing you that I have not yet inverted it and that my right sides are together. Invert the garment's front. When I'm inverting a small garment, I like to use a chopstick. I find it useful to employ a chopstick. So when I turn this right side out, sometimes I'll insert the chopstick along the neckline and give it a little twist. Okay, the idea is to help kind of push the edge of that inverted seam closer to the outside of the garment. Once inverted, press the neckline. Next, we'll work with the back pieces. Lay a lining piece on top of an outer back piece, keeping right sides together. Sew around the neck, back closure area, and the bottom of the back. Follow these same directions for the other back as well. Clip your seams and your corners. Invert both backs. Once again, I'm using a little twist to get those inverted. Now that you've inverted both back pieces, press your seams. You should have 2 backs, 1 front, and 2 sleeves now. Lay one back on top of the garment's front, keeping right sides together. That means the pretty side touches the pretty side, or the outer fabric touches the outer fabric. And here's an example. Okay. Sew across the shoulder seam. Because this part of the garment is so tiny, I've stitched mine by hand using a back stitch, but you could use a sewing machine for this. If you need help with the back stitch, I do have a tutorial for that. There's a link to my tutorial in the description area below this video on YouTube. Next, lay the other back piece on top of the front, again with right sides touching, right sides together, and sew this shoulder seam as well. Lay your garment out with the wrong side up and press the shoulder seams. It's optional, but it does look nice if you do a little bit of top stitching around the neck and the back closure. Next, you'll need your pattern so you can hem the sleeves. Use the lines on your pattern to guide you as you fold the straight side of the sleeve once and then a second time to create a hem. You can whip stitch to hem the folded edge, which is what I'm doing here, or you can sew it on your sewing machine. If you need help with the whip stitch, I have another tutorial for that. Just look again in the description area below. Lay the sleeve's curved corner against the shirt's underarm area, keeping right sides together. Stitch from the underarm. I'm using a back stitch for this, until you reach about 2 centimeters in. When you've attached 2 centimeters of the sleeve, stop and tie your knot. Wrap the sleeve around to the other underarm area. Okay, now that can be hard to understand, so I have a little video. I've attached my sleeve partly to the bodice front, right there. Now I'm going to wrap it around to the bodice back, and I'm going to attach it from here to there, just a little bit. Stitch from the other underarm to the 2 centimeter point, then tie your knot. Now this will leave a gap at the top of your sleeve. Here's a video to show you what I mean by that gap. Okay, so we have attached the sleeve on the 2 sides, but there should be a gap right at the top of the sleeve, right where my finger is coming through. Okay, and this allows for a little bit of give in the sleeve. And we are going to gather it right here until we can stitch it onto the rest of the garment. So gather the fabric at the top of the sleeve until the top of the sleeve fits nicely into that shoulder area of the garment. So here I have gathered it, and I might have to pull at it a little bit to get it to fit in, and then I can tie a knot in my gathers right there. You may need to stretch out your gathers for this. Once it fits the shoulder area, back stitch to attach the sleeve to the garment's shoulder. Now you've attached one sleeve. Here's how it looks from the wrong side. Follow the same directions to first hem and then attach the other sleeve to the garment. clip the seams around the armhole area. And that's what I'm doing here. I put this in fast motion, but of course anytime you clip your seams you want to go very slowly so you don't accidentally cross over the stitches you've made. I just sped it up for your sake. Turn the garment so it's right side up. Fold one of the sleeves in half and stitch from the sleeve's hem to the underarm area. Then stitch from the underarm to the bust dart, or just a little bit down from the bust dart, and that's where you tie a knot. Follow the same directions for the other side, and now your garment will look like this. Before you finish those two side seams, open the gap between the shirt front and its lining and send the raw edges of these inside the gap with the goal of making them match the garment's back in terms of the front's length. Use straight pins to hold this area in place. Now that's complicated, so here's what I mean. Okay, so you take the garment front, which has these raw edges, and you open it up and then you push those raw edges inside between the two pieces of fabric. And you want to double check and make sure that it's about the same length as the back. You don't want there to be a gap on the side seam, so you might have to readjust. Once you feel confident that you have it, where you want it so it matches the back, then you insert a straight pin to kind of hold it in place while you whip stitch to close off this area. So I'm just making sure that the back matches in length with the front on this side as well, and then I insert my straight pin, and now I'm going to whip stitch to close all of this front area, almost like a hem. It's not really a hem, but I'm going to whip stitch that to close it off. I'm double checking to make sure my backs are the same length as the front. Whip stitch all along the bottom of the garment's front, removing the straight pins as you go. When you're done whip stitching, you will still have a gap at the side seams. Finish stitching the side seams by stitching from where you left off near the bust dart to the bottom of the garment on both sides. Invert the garment, add a few snaps or a strip of Velcro down the back closure area, and now you're ready to try the shirt on a doll. For more free printable PDF sewing patterns to fit dolls of many shapes and all different sizes, please remember to visit my website, chellywood.com. And by the way, I do have a tutorial coming up in which I show you how to make the ruffle skirt and the swirly Halloween skirt.
Hey, did you know that you could design your own doll pants patterns from scratch with just a limited amount of sewing knowledge?
Pattern design is made simple by connecting your doll's measurements with a template I give you during my course.
I'm Chelly Wood, the doll clothing designer.
I own Chelly Wood LLC and the website chellywood.com.
In my Creative Spark online learning course on doll pants design, I'll teach you the basic fundamentals of pattern design, like how do seam allowances work, before we move on to work on designing our own leggings, jeans, fly front pants, and even overalls. So please join me. I would love to see you on the Creative Spark online learning platform. Come see what we offer. Again, I'm Chelly Wood, one of the instructors.